Good morning again. Doing two videos today. This one is going to be a little different. This one is more scientific, theological, and let's go. So, I was recently blessed, if you will, to see the intellectual prowess of a 11-year-old young man challenge the intellect of Stephen Hawking's, and simultaneously proclaim the belief in God. And that to me is amazing. And then someone wanted to comment that even if he was disproving Stephen Hawking's, that doesn't mean that there's a God. I would like to challenge that. First off, in our limited scope of study and or understanding, we cannot say definitively, this is as an agnostic, which I am not, whether there is or is not a God. So at the very least, everyone should be an agnostic. No one should dare claim to be an atheist, for there is no proof, no verifiable proof that there is no God. I dare anyone to show it to me. At the most, you can show me that you're angry at God, that you disapprove of my God, that you don't like what I say about God, that there's those who have gods, they're gods that you don't like. Okay, I get that. You don't like what I say about Christian God, you don't like Allah, you don't like the Hindu God, whatever. But that doesn't mean that there's not a God. That means that you don't like that God. You don't believe in the facts about God. But that doesn't prove that there's not a God. Okay? Proof that the God does not exist is different than saying that you don't believe in God. Okay, so having moved past that, in our limited scope, in your personal limited scope of study, as a human being, you can only study so much. There's only so much research, almost so much time. Even if you spend all of your adult life, let's say you start researching theology and science and everything there is to study as a human being, from the time you are 8 till the time you die at 120, there's only so much information you can absorb and retain and process and analyze. So many theories you can test and put forth. So I defy anyone to prove to me there is no God. You cannot. You cannot. By the same token, you might say, well, I cannot prove there is a God. But my God tells me to believe by faith. There's the conundrum. The God of Christianity is a God who operates by faith. And my faith tells me that when I look at the universe which this person who was arguing against this young boy says is around 13.8 billion years old, which he says is what we can study and see. But then he goes on to say that the universe is actually infinitely old. The universe is infinitely old. Process that thought for me. The universe is infinitely old. So a thing that is expanding, that has energy that is in entropy, which means that it's dying, it's puttering out, it's infinitely old. So how do we explain what we see as we study the universe? How can the universe be infinitely old? That does not make sense in what we have been able to study and gather. This gentleman is contradicting himself and making excuses for his limited understanding. And then he wants to bring up the idea of parallel dimensions and galaxies and understandings. Let's talk about Occam's razor. That, of course, states what? That the most simplest answer is the answer. So, if we look at the idea that something is put in motion by something, if I have a catalyst, if I have an experiment, I have a beaker sitting on my experiment table, and it's full of a compound, and I have the catalyst for that compound, and it's sitting 2 feet away. I must, as the researcher, pick it up, go over, and add it. No matter how long I wait, no matter how patient I am, I can stare at it, I can hope beyond hope, I can think, I could pray, I could imagine that evolution would cause the bottles to somehow join together. Maybe monkeys would come together and push them together. That won't happen. I would, as the researcher, or in this scenario, the creator of the experiment, have to get up and cause the reaction. So, in the great cosmic reaction that is life on Earth, in our solar system, God said, "Let there be light." God separated the light and the darkness. God brought forth the animals and the trees, and God did it. Now, if you want to get nitpicky and say, well, when? Why? If you want to say it was this year or that year, I'm not going to argue that point, because I don't know. I wasn't there. You know, the Bible doesn't give an exact date. You know, maybe he was puttering around the universe and created our solar system later than the others. Maybe he created the earth and formed the moon 8,000 years ago. That's why it looks like the moon has started moving away from the earth 8,000 years ago, if you trace it backwards. But the rest of the universe looks 13 billion years old. And that if you look at the flood, the timeline of the flood, that's what can create diamonds and bury dinosaur bones. And in the caves you can see sculptures and you can see paintings of dinosaurs. You know, there's lies in the textbooks where it shows that men purposely made it look like animal fetuses look similar to each other when they didn't. It's true, look it up. Man has distorted facts for too long, and we have believed it. This man would have you believe what he wants to believe because he doesn't want to believe in God. I don't know why. I don't care why. This young man believes in God, and he believes in science. And that's a beautiful thing, because they do go hand in hand. I don't hate this man. I hate his science. His science is wrong. his science is a lie. His subverting the truth is a lie. His subverting God is a lie. His wanting to trying to find a way out and around is a lie. The simplest way is almost always the easiest way. The truth is there is a God, and he put things in motion, and he is there, and he does judge us according to his standard. And his standard is to look at the beauty of this world and see that yes, it is perfection. And it only messes up when we interfere with it. When we go in and we take too much and we burn things down and we steal and we rob and we hate each other and we curse each other and we act like we're special when we're not. That's when problems happen, people. It said, the Bible says that there's neither Jew nor Gentile, neither male nor female. It says to love one another. You know, people would have you ignore that. Scientists would have you know that. You know, Darwin was a racist. People forget that. The point is that this young man whose intellect far surpasses my own, I pray he doesn't get dissuaded from his path, that he stays true to it, and that he can take his science farther, he can take his faith farther, and that he can continue to show people the truth, that he can look deeper into this. And I'm way too old to study anymore. My poor brain is fried. I'm on this medicine that's making me trip. I'm lucky to be able to drive home. I just want to get home to my wife. I want to eat something. I want to sleep, rest my back. I like talking to you guys, but as you can see, thinking about this just infuriates me, because this man, I mean, he wasn't super rude, but to attack this young man's faith and to make it sound like he was off base when he wasn't even open to faith, open to the truth. And he never will be. I hate to say that. Maybe that's not true. I pray he does open his eyes, and I pray he does come to the faith, because everybody deserves a relationship with Jesus. Everybody deserves redemption and kindness and hope. Everybody deserves to see the truth for what it is, that this world can be so beautiful. The truth is, it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse before it gets better. The world is going to come crumbling down, and it's going to get dark and dank and horrible, and things are going to go from bad to worse, and people are just not going to understand. People who love the Lord need to be there to teach and to guide and to lead. We need to prepare ourselves, to prepare our children, our families, and our friends, to prepare our church, to make sure we are girded up in our most holy faith, that our armor is ready. So, friends, brothers, sisters, loved ones, and any non-Christians who are watching this, know I'm praying for you. Know I love you, and if I did offend you, I apologize. That was not my intent. My intent was to share what I believe to be true, that we do live in a universe of wonder and amazement, in a universe that was created by a God who can do things that we can't imagine, who has done things beyond our imagination, that we look out upon his creation and try to explain it with our minds that are clouded, and then we get confused and we argue and we belittle each other and try to beat each other up with words and get hurt and get frustrated. But the truth is so simple and so beautiful. And if we just accept it, then we could have a good time together. And it'd be so wonderful. And then when we go to him, it would just be this great big party. You know? Because unlike the cartoons and the old movies, that's what it's going to be. The Bible describes heaven as a joyous, wonderful, majestic feast and party, shouting and dancing before the Lord, and feasting, and colors, and it's just amazing. I'm excited. I think about it. It's just amazing. And old cartoons, and sometimes the movies, and clouds and little harps and angels with wings. Yeah, there'll be angels there, but they're magnificent warriors. They're not those little dudes who stand on your shoulders protecting you from the demons. They're magnificent warriors, and some of them are quite scary when you read the descriptions, like in the book of Revelations and Ezekiel. But I've taken up enough of your time if you've watched this far. So, study for yourself, and let me know what you think. What are your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs on this subject? Where do we come from? Where are we going? How old is the universe? How old is Earth? Who is God? Did he make Earth? Do you believe he'll destroy Earth? The Bible says so. He says he's going to do away with Earth. He's going to get rid of Earth, make a new Earth, a new heaven, and a new Earth. So we get all worried about saving the Earth. He knows we're destroying the Earth. That's why he says there will be a new heaven and a new Earth. The skies will be rolled up like a scroll. There'll be a new heaven and a new Earth. Now, I'm not saying abuse the Earth. While we're here, we should try to take care of it. But there's so much damage done already. Just stop the damage now. And be kind to it while we can. And just be glad that when he comes and all is said and done, it'll be like trading in a car and a new model. And Dad, he'll take care of it this time. Anyway, guys, thanks for putting up with me. Love you, praying for you. You guys have a great day. Jesus bless you. Bye-bye.